Hey everyone, welcome back to KDX Bricks Analytics. I am Kevin, and I am going to be showing you the most popular Lego Star Wars sets retiring at the end of 2024 for investing. As always, at the end, I will give you my top 3. Here we are looking at Brick Fanatics, and I know it's only a few days into 2024, but since we've clicked over to the new year, it is never too early to start looking at the retirement list for this year. According to Brick Fanatics, there are 31 Star Wars sets that are right now scheduled to retire in 11 months and 20 approximately days. As we all know, this is really early and is likely to change a little bit, even though it seems like during 2023, there were not a lot of changes throughout the year. So Brick Fanatics is killing it like always. I've got our cumulative table on the left here for all of 2023. So this is every positive Lego set mentioned from January 1st to December 31st. All 12 months, it was 550 videos that I watched across 32 channels, and there were just about 3,800 individual sets mentioned. I've still got all the sets on here that just retired a couple of weeks ago. I will take all that data off in future videos, but in this video, I just wanted to look at the 31 Star Wars sets that are currently scheduled to retire at the end of 2024 and see what kind of mentions and enthusiasm score they got throughout 2023. And one quick side note, I will do one final video on all the sets that are retiring in 2023 just to highlight the final 12-month data for those sets too, and then we'll use that video in a year or two and we'll go back and grade myself and all of the YouTubers when it came to scoring the 2023 retiring sets. First Star Wars set retiring at the end of 2024 to look at is highlighted here. It is 75333, ObiWan Kenobi's Jedi Starfighter, 27 mentions with an E-score of 2.7. This is an interesting set to look at because it came out in August of 22 and it was on the retirement list for the end of 23 for at least a few months, and then it dropped off and now it's really looking like it's going to retire at the end of 24. Really cool set though, $30. It's constantly on sale for 24, so that means we'll be able to find it for 20 or maybe even below 20 here and there as we get close to the end of 2024. Starfighters typically do well, especially Obi-Wans, but in this set, the minifigures are awesome. All 3 of them are exclusive, and the big highlight when this set first came out was Tan Wee. She looks fantastic. If we look on Brick Economy and scroll down to the bottom, there's the minifigures. Already $840 for Tan Wee, and the minifigures are totaling about $16 already, so not bad considering this set got extended for a year. Yeah, overall nice design and color flow and blocking on the Starship. I know there's a few minor complaints here and there. I don't get into that too much. I also want to show that this set does have one mention on the not top sets table, and that mention is right there. Nothing earth-shattering, but I did want to point that out. And then one last thing to show you on this set is this chart that I put together, which shows for all 12 months in 2023 the number of mentions by month and then the cumulative total of mentions. And this one's pretty interesting because from January to July, the expectation was that it was retiring at the end of 2023, so it was getting consistent mentions, 2, 4, 6, 7. And then once we found out it was getting extended to 2024, then this set was not talked about at all anymore. And that doesn't mean that it was a bad set. It just means that there's no reason to focus on it and focus on buying them in 2023 when you would have to hold it all the way through 2024 also. Next one up on the table is 40615, the Tuscan Raider, 23 mentions, only an E-score of 2.3. That seems a little low to me. This brickhead set looks awesome. Really good detail and really looks like a Tuscan Raider. Some of the brickheads are hard to really see what they're going for in the brickhead's form. You know, that particular character, especially some of the superhero ones I find are a little bit plain and hard to see. But this one, you look at it and you know exactly it's a Tuscan Raider. If we look at the other Star Wars brickheads, historically they do really, really well. And then the one that just retired is Ahsoka Tano, very popular, was expected to be a huge hit. And if we look at eBay, it's already going for about double MSRP shipped, and it's only been off the shelves for about a month or so is when I saw it disappear and go to sold out. And so very early, it is doing okay, and we all expect that to continue to grow a lot. So for me, I do like this Tuscan Raider brickhead set a lot, and I do plan on picking a bunch throughout the year. Now on to one of my absolute favorite sets for investing and one of my absolute favorite Star Wars sets ever produced. It's the Mos Eisley Cantina 75290. It's the $400 set from the Master Builder series very, very expensive, but it looks so awesome. 21 mentions, an E-score of 2.6. That is outstanding. Also to point out, it is a 4.5 on Brickset, and Brickset scores can be a little bit more critical than definitely like Lego.com, and so a 4.5 is fantastic. Such a cool set. This was a rare day one buy and build for me, so I bought it at full price and built it right away. I absolutely believe this is a $1,000 set a few years after retirement. I will definitely be picking up a bunch of these throughout the year, especially during times that we can stack really good Rakuten and gifts with purchase, double VIP, and heck, maybe even this one will go on sale too later in the year. The UCS Republic Gunship went on sale. Maybe this one will too. I'm going to be watching it closely. The build is just outstanding. The main cantina opens up, a lot of interior detail. The outbuildings and side builds, the couple of ships are really awesome. Here's a picture of it opened up with all of that interior detail. The bar is amazing. But the other equally awesome part about this set is the 21 minifigures. 9 of them are exclusive and they look so good. The musician, C-3PO, I know we've had C-3PO in another few sets. Greedo looks great. Outstanding head printing. I know he's in one other set. Same with Obi-Wan in one other set, but looks great. And then you get down to the alien characters. These are all exclusive. They are super cool looking. Garandon's face piece is really good. Another great headpiece. Really good torso detail and printing on this one. And then the 2 sand troopers that are exclusive look great. The pauldrons and all of the printing detail. Here's the squad leader. Awesome, awesome minifigures. Let's look at Brick Economy and look at the value of all of these great minifigures. And it's still a year out from retiring, and the value is $247. Already well over 50% the MSRP. So yeah, I absolutely love this set. I'll stop gushing about it. I know I'm going on with this one, but I think it's a big winner and I'm watching it closely. Even though it came out in 2020, it's going to have over a 4-year shelf life. I'm not worried about that at all on this one. Here's the chart I made for the Mos Eisley Cantina, and please note I only made this chart for a few of the sets. It's way too much data to look at, but I picked out a few interesting ones. And here's another one I thought was kind of cool. It got 10 mentions at the beginning of 2023. And again, that's when people were really hoping that it was going to retire at the end of 2023. And then we got the news that it was likely to extend, but it still got some mentions throughout the year. And definitely come December, when it really looked like it was going to retire in 2024, then the mentions starting to pick up. So I expect the mentions for this set to continue to climb throughout 2024. Now on to a helmet set, 75351, the Princess Leia Bouche helmet. It will have just under a 2-year shelf life. It's $70, which is expensive. All of the helmets are expensive, but we're able to get them on discount, and so that's when I'll be picking this one up. The design is exceptional, looks really, really close to the source material, even though it is just so ugly looking and so freaky looking. It's the helmet of nightmares, but it is still awesome. I will definitely be getting a bunch of them throughout 2024. I think it's going to be a great investment. Let's look at previous helmets. They've all done really, really well in general, including the Scout Trooper that was the weakest helmet is already increasing in value. Remember, this one MSRP'd at $50, but people were getting it for $30, $35, and it's up to $61. But let's look at the couple that just retired. First, the Luke Skywalker Red 5 helmet on eBay, which had an MSRP of $70. We were able to get it for $45. At Target. It is already going for over MSRP shipped. Here's one that's 84, over 70 shipped, 80 shipped. And remember, a bunch of these were picked up at $45. So that is fantastic. And then the other one that just retired is the Dark Trooper helmet. Not as popular because it doesn't look great compared to the source material and it's a little bit ugly. Also $70 MSRP. And on eBay, it is going for about the MSRP shipped. And we were able to get this one for around $55 at Target, if I recall. So still doing pretty well. And I think both of them are going to do really well after a year or two of hold time. So yes, I am definitely all in on the helmets, especially this one, because it is so unique and is a standout compared to all of the other helmets that have been produced to date. And it looks like Lego is done with the helmet sub-theme in Star Wars, which is a shame, but it's great that there's 11 nice sides to collect all of them. And I think people are going to want them all, the completionists out there. And I think a lot of people are going to become a completionist when it comes to this helmet line and want all 11 of them. And next on the list is another helmet, 75350, the Clone Commander Cody helmet. We finally got Commander Cody in helmet form. This one also is fantastic. All the same comments comments on this one as the Princess Leia Boosh. And I forgot to mention the Boosh got 20 mentions with an enthusiasm score of 2.7. And then Commander Cody got 19 mentions with an E score of 2.5. And interestingly enough, here on the table is the Captain Rex helmet, but according to the Brick Fanatics retirement list for 24, it is not retired. So one of these two is going out and the other one looks like it'll be around till 2025, of course, subject to change. Here's the chart for this one, and not much up until September, but come September, we were starting to see the helmets that retired in 2022 grow in value and get some pretty good post-retirement performance. And so that's why other YouTubers started talking about the remaining helmets. And this one in particular really jumped from 2 to 3 to 8 mentions in November. It was on sale a little bit in November too, but some investors were a little bit cautious with helmets earlier in 2023 because they were wondering if the TIE Fighter pilot and Stormtrooper were one-off investments or if they were good indications of how the other helmets would do. And now that we've seen the Boba Fett helmet increase in price and even the Scout Trooper and the others that retired at the end of 2022, then investors were saying, all right, these helmets have strong legs for investing, so let's start picking up the other ones. And so then the mentions started increasing. Now, before I go on to the next set in this table, if you haven't watched one of my videos before, I watch all the other Lego investing and reselling YouTube videos so that you don't have to. While I'm watching those videos, every time the presenter mentions a Lego set, I record it on a table. And for each mention, I give it an enthusiasm score. A 3 means the presenter thinks the set is going to be a home run investment. A 2 means the presenter thinks it's going to be a solid investment. And a 1 means the presenter is interested and is looking at it, but has some questions about the set for investing. And then on a separate not top sets table that I showed you earlier, every time a presenter says they are skipping it for investing purposes, then I give it an enthusiasm score of 0 and I put it on that separate table. Now on to 75344, Boba Fett's Starship Microfighter. I love this one. It's going to have a 2-year shelf life, still the standard $10 price point. It looks like the price points for microfighters is going up. Minifigure printing and detail is great, even though it's not canonically perfect. I'm okay with that. And then the little ship is awesome. The minifigure can be completely enclosed in the canopy, which is, I think, a great benefit of this set. 18 mentions, enthusiasm score of 2.4. It does have 2 mentions against investing and reselling right here on the not top sets table. Looking at other microfighters, a lot of them do really well. Now I sorted this value highest to lowest, but here's the Clone Turbo Tank, $56. Here's a 2-pack that's $40. Here's the Republic Gunship, no surprise, $40. The Ghost, we're going to talk about the large Ghost set that just came out here soon, but $37. So a lot of these are doing really well. Some of them aren't great, but I think this one is unique enough and has a great minifigure that it's going to be in the group that does really well. I actually picked up 30 of these at that $629 price point not too long ago. 75369, the Boba Fett Mech, 17 mentions with an E score of 2.5, which is really good considering that this is a Star Wars mech and everybody was not thrilled to hear that Lego was producing Star Wars mechs. These are not conical, but the Boba Fett mech is really good. It's the one that I absolutely want to invest in. The mech itself is well done, nice colors, similar to the previous set. Another awesome Boba Fett minifigure, great printing, great detail, the arm printing, the helmet. And of course, the minifigure is exclusive to this set. And even though it's a mech and there was a lot of hate when these were announced, this one only has 1 mention on our not top sets table. Next up is 75347, the TIE Bomber, 16 mentions with a really solid 2.4 enthusiasm score. This is another one I like a lot. It will have a 2-year shelf life. $65 for the 625 pieces and the 4 minifigures. I think it's a little expensive at the MSRP price point, but I'm sure we'll get more good discounts on it. I'd like to get it for about $45 for investing. I bet we'll even get a shot around $40. 3 of the 4 minifigures are exclusive, and the one that is not is Darth Vader, but this one is only in one other set. Darth Vader always looks great. People really like sets with Darth Vader minifigures, even if they're in other sets, so that's a help. And then Vice Admiral Sloan looks good. Pilot looks good. And then I don't count the Gonk droid as a minifigure, even though we all do like Gonk droids. It's a brick-built droid, but it does have the little printing over there. If we look at the other TIE Bomber on Brick Economy, it's doing really well. It came out in 2023, so 20 years ago, but it's up from $30 to over $220. And then look, we only have this TIE Bomber. So this is the first one that Lego has produced in 20 years. Unless Lego starts coming out with a slew of TIE Bombers like they've done with the TIE Fighter or the X-Wings, then I absolutely see this set going up in price post-retirement. I put together a chart on this table too. It's the last chart that I have for this video, but I thought this one was another good one to look at because it's just steady as she goes. Just some good solid mentions throughout the year that really indicates that a lot of people are excited about this set because we haven't had one in such a long time. Now on to 75359, Ahsoka's Clone Trooper Battle Pack. Lego's been killing it with the battle packs. 15 mentions, only an enthusiasm score of 2.2, which I think makes sense. Some battle packs have been real duds for investing, and some of them have been amazing. I think this one will do pretty well. It's Ahsoka related. She's a very popular character right now, and it has a cool swamp speeder. I know it's a micro build basically, but it looks great. And I think the minifigures are very good. Maybe nothing too earth-shattering, but overall very good. I don't mind the helmet holes. I know that's huge controversy. I do like the blue jetpacks. So I'm generally positive on this set, but it does have 2 mentions on our skip for investing and reselling table. We have another battle pack, 75345, the 501st Clone Troopers battle pack. So this one is clones related. 13 mentions, E-score of 2.1, starting to get a little lower there even. And of the 2 battle packs, I think I prefer Ahsoka's. This one is okay. Also, it is related to the Clone Wars, which will help it out, I think. Minifigures are good, but the build itself is junk. But the one thing I do like about the minifigures is all of the accessories that do go with the helmet holes, so that will cover up some of those issues for some people out there. The printing and detail looks good. And interesting enough, this set does not have any mentions on our not top sets table. All right, a diorama set. You guys know I love the dioramas. 75352, the Emperor's Throne Room diorama. Came out in the middle of 23, expected to retire at the end of 24, so a 1.5-year shelf life, just like the dioramas that retired at the end of 23. Crazy expensive at $100 for 807 pieces. 3 minifigures, 2 of them are unique. The dioramas, you have to get them all on 40% discount. We were able to do that right at the end of the year for the 3 that just retired, but a solid 4.3 rating on Brickset. 10 mentions with an E-score of 2.5, so even though it's a $100 set and very overpriced, still an E-score of 2.5. That's a good sign right there. And this one is one of the best. So well designed and constructed, and the minifigures are awesome, and the scene is awesome. Let's look at the other dioramas and see how they're doing. 8 days into 2024, Death Star Trash Compactor retailed at $90, and it is, here's one for 81 shipped, 75 shipped, 80 shipped. So it's about $10 shy of MSRP shipped. And remember, we could get these on a really good discount, so that's already a very good sign. The Jedi Training diorama retailed also for $90, and on eBay it is 76 shipped, 75 shipped. So not quite as good as the Trash Compactor, but remember the Trash Compactor was a Walmart exclusive, but still this is a good sign because we were able to purchase this around 50. And then the last one that just retired is the Death Star Trench Run, retailed at only $70. Again, very expensive, but looking on eBay, 61 shipped, 45 shipped, about 75 shipped. And I was able to pick up a bunch of those at the $35 price point. So if you were shopping hard on the dioramas that just retired, then you're already making a little bit of profit. And wait the standard year or 2 hold time, and I think they're going to be doing really well. So with that said, I am all in on this set too. You guys, as I stated, know that I absolutely love the dioramas. I'm going to be looking hard to find this one for hopefully $60 or $65, and then I'm picking them up. The new MIDI scale set, 75356, the Executor Super Star Destroyer, $70, similar to the helmets and the dioramas. Overpriced on these Star Wars collectible sets aimed at adults, but I'm sure we'll be able to get this one on sale too. A very solid 4.4 on Brickset. This one looks fantastic. 10 mentions, an E-score of 2.2. Sounds about right. If we put in MIDI on Brick Economy, there are 2 previous Star Wars sets. The Imperial Star Destroyer from 2010 has a 262% growth, and then the Millennium Falcon from 2009 has a 312% growth. I forget if there are any other MIDI scale sets out there, but these are the 2 that came up when I put in the word MIDI on Brick Economy. They certainly are good indicators for this set, and it sounds like Lego's going to make a few more in the MIDI scale size, maybe with the helmets likely going out. Lego said, hey, the next Star Wars sub-theme should be some MIDI scale ships, and I could see them performing similarly to the helmets. Here we are to the Ghost and Phantom 2 75357, 9 mentions, an E-score of 2.1. I would have thought that would have been a little bit higher. I think the reluctance is the $160 price point for the almost 1,400 pieces, but it does have 5 minifigures. All of them are unique. We'll look at those in a second. About a year and a third shelf life, so that's really good there. 4.5 on brick set. All signs are pointing to this set doing really, really well, but I think the concerns are that it is going to be similar to the Justifier. Way overpriced at $170. Yes, some good minifigures, but at that weird price point, $150 to $200, where the sets sometimes have a tough time growing on the secondary market. Luckily, this one, the price to part ratio is much better. We will definitely get an opportunity to get it on sale. People were getting the Justifier for $100, even $80. I think we'll get real good opportunity with the Ghost set also. And then let's take a quick look at these minifigures. Lieutenant Beta, so good. Astromech, whatever. Jason is pretty good. Hawkins looks great. I love this torso. Pretty simple, but really good. I like the blue arms. Hopefully the printing of the blue is opaque enough and consistent with the arms. And then the best one is Hera with that headpiece and all of the hip and leg detail. Really, really good minifigure. So in my opinion, this is definitely a good set to watch for really good discounts, and then it could be a good investment. 75370, the Stormtrooper mech. 9 mentions, only an E-score of 1.8. It looks good, and the one reason why I'm interested in it is because people like to do army building, and I could see some people going outside of the conical universe and saying, hey, I want to army build a bunch of Stormtrooper mechs, almost like cavalry, a bunch of Stormtroopers on futuristic horses, but they're mechs instead. The minifigure isn't exclusive, but it's still a good solid Stormtrooper minifigure. But I do want to point out that on our not top sets table, it has 5 mentions against investing and reselling. Like I said earlier, other than the Boba Fett mech, fans were not excited about getting these Star Wars mechs in Lego form. 75354, the Coruscant Guard Gunship. $140 for under 1,100 pieces, but 5 minifigures. All of them are unique to this set. So similar story to the Ghost Ship on the price to part ratio and being in that weird 150 or approximate $150 to $200 price range. I know this one's 140, but so that could throw it off a little bit. There's a lot of hate for this set. I'm not on board with that. I like it. It's something different, and I think all of the minifigures look very good. Palpatine with the robes and the shock troopers. I like this one because when we put in Gunship into brick economy, there's a lot of tans and grays, and then of course all the Republic gunships look pretty similar, and so adding a ship with a lot of red to this lineup I think gives it some color. And also if we put in Coruscant to brick economy, there are only a few sets, but this assault ship and planet is $42 from $10. The police gunship is up 668%, and so maybe the Coruscant Guard gunship will do pretty well, even though I have some hesitancy on it. But it does have 8 mentions with an enthusiasm score of 2.4, so that's really good. Another helmet, 75304, the Darth Vader helmet, 8 mentions, enthusiasm score of 2.3. There's been so little talk about this helmet. It's because it's been out since 2021, and there was no discussion at all of it retiring the last couple years, and so finally it's hitting a list for the end of 2024. Even though it's been out a long time, crazy expensive at $80, I think for the right sale price, it will be a really good investment, just like all of the other helmets. And then, hey, it's Darth Vader. In the long run, 5-10 years from now, people are going to need to have the Darth Vader helmet to round out their entire collection. And then the last of the mechs is the Darth Vader mech. This one I don't like, even though if the price is right and the buzz is right, I would still definitely invest in it if I thought it could make some money. But yeah, I personally don't like this one. Darth Vader's too awesome on his own. He doesn't need a mech. 8 mentions, an E-score of 1.8. And similar to the Stormtrooper, this one has a lot of mentions on the not top sets table, 6 total to avoid for investing and reselling. The second diorama that's retiring this year, 75353, the Endor Speeder Chase diorama. This one is great too. I'm all in on this one, even though it's $80 for 608 pieces. Initially, I did not like how they hacked the trees off, but now that I've gotten used to it, I really like the artistic touch with how they made it look like the trees aren't cut, they're just removed from the frame of the scene, and that way then we can really focus on the chase and the ground cover. 7 mentions, an E-score of 2.4. When the discounts start coming, I am picking them up. 75361, the Spider Tank from Mandalorian, 6 mentions with an enthusiasm score of 1.7. In short, I don't like it. Very ugly, very expensive at $50. I know it has 526 pieces, but still, it seems just way overpriced. The only thing that's going for it is the awesome exclusive Bo-Katan minifigure. So maybe at $25 I'd pick some up. Definitely at $20 I would, but not one that I'm going to be looking at too closely unless it goes on a huge discount. Another Mandalorian set, 75348, the Fang Fighter versus TIE Interceptor. And I'm going to keep an eye on this one. It's only okay for me. It does have 5 mentions and an E-score of 2.4. That E-score is pretty good. 2 of the minifigures are exclusive, kind of that standard $100 price point set, but it has 2 ships instead of 1. I've never been a big fan of the $100 sets with the 2 ships. I'd much rather have just 1 larger ship and maybe some better or more minifigures. And the Fang Fighter is only okay, pretty flat. Obviously, the TIE Interceptor is awesome looking, but I really want to see where the Mandalorian goes, at least the buzz around the show goes during 2024. It came out real strong. Season 2 and 3, it kind of died off. There's talk about, when and what will be coming next in the series. And so we'll get better gauge on that throughout the year. But right now I'm just so on this set, even though a couple of the minifigures are exclusive and overall they do look great. Another ship 2-pack. This one is from the Ahsoka series. It's 75364, the Republic E-Wing versus Shin Starfighter. And same thing on this one. The ships are only okay for me, but 5 minifigures and all of them are exclusive and they look super good. Captain Porter, love it. Morgan Elsbeth, really good. Definitely looks like the actress. The Astromech, nice to have one that's a little bit colorful. And then Shin, definitely looks like the actress. And then Balin, looks pretty close to the actor. These are good minifigures, but this set is up to the $110 price point now. It does have over 1,000 pieces. With the popularity of the Ahsoka series, I'm more excited about this one than the last one, but it only has 5 mentions with only an E-score of 2. And it does have 1 mention on our not top sets table. Oh boy, the much discussed 75365 Yavin 4 Rebel Base, 5 mentions, E-score of 2 on the table. And I'm going to show you the not top mentions right away because it only has 1, and I would have thought it would have had more than 1 based on all of the negative talk about this set. And I agree with a lot of the negativity. It just looks awful, starting with the tree, which is the worst, but even the building isn't great. It's just too open in the front. It's too small. If we look at the back of it, it is way too open around the back. And so just not a good build in my opinion, but it has 12 minifigures. 8 of them are exclusive to the set. They all look really good. And so I think it has a chance. If you get it on a good discount, it's $170 at just over 1,000 pieces. So another one that's like the Justifier, but not like the Justifier because it has a ton of minifigures. If this one does well, it's going to be because of the minifigures. And if we look at Brick Economy, the minifigures are already doing pretty well at $112. If this $170 set goes on sale for $100 or even $120, then I think we're in the money. Now on to 75257, the Millennium Falcon, 5 mentions, only a 1.8 E-score. And that's because when Lego retires one Millennium Falcon, they make another. Tons of them have been produced. This one will have over a 5-year shelf life, super long. So I agree, this is one that I plan on skipping unless there's some crazy awesome discount. But the minifigures themselves do look very good, so there might be of some interest there. It does have 1 mention on our not top sets table. Oh, and don't forget, my videos are for entertainment purposes only. I do not provide financial advice. You got to get that from somebody else. 75308, the Brickbuilt R2D2, 4 mentions, E-score of 2. It also has 1 mention on the not top sets table. And generally, I don't like this set for investing. $240. Yeah, it's good size, but it's a lot of money. And the previous R2D2 that retired in 2014, so it's been almost 10 years, it's up from 180 to 225. Not a lot of growth at all. And there are a lot of rumors out there that another Brickbuilt R2D2 is coming later this year, which I think could hurt this one a lot. So I'm very likely to skip this set completely. The Brickbuilt Chewbacca 75371. We've talked about this one a lot. Boy, people were super unhappy when this set came out, wondering who in the world came up with this idea and why did Lego produce it. I think it looks pretty good other than the head. We've talked about that a lot, but I think it looks pretty good. Has 3 mentions, an E-score 1.7, just as expected. Not very popular for investors. investing $200, but it has over 2,300 pieces. And since this one is very different looking than the previous Brickbuilt Star Wars characters that look kind of like blobs, you know, short, stocky blobs, this one is tall, has some shape to it. I think this one could be of interest if Lego makes some others that are more like this one, but that is an outside chance gamble. On the not top sets table, Chewie has 5 mentions against investing. I totally get it. 75313, the AT-AT, or at 2 mentions with an E-score of 2.5. Just over a 3-year shelf life. Looks great, a 4.5 on brick set, so one of the best AT-ATs made by Lego. But like a lot of the other common Star Wars ships and vehicles, Lego's produced a bunch of these. They will make more. So I'm not too excited about this one, but it does have 9 minifigures. But remember, this is the UCS version at $850. That is a ton for the 6,785 pieces. Maybe before it retires, we'll be able to stack some deals and get it for $650 or $700, but still a ton of money. So I am definitely hesitant just because of the price point, but it is the first UCS AT-AT, so maybe it'll go to $1,200, $1,500, maybe even $2,000, like a lot of the older first ships and vehicles in UCS form. 75360, Yoda's Jedi Starfighter, 2 mentions, an E-score of 2.5, and wow, for me that E-score is way too high. The minifigures aren't special. The ship is exactly like the one that was released in 2017. It was $25. It's up to $45, but this one is starting at $35, and so I just don't see a lot of room for this one to grow in value. Another UCS ship, 75341, Luke Skywalker's land speeder, only $240, but only 1,900 pieces, a couple of minifigures. I know this set's had a lot of discussion, a lot of jokes, some negativity. I actually like it a lot. I think it looks great. I like the color of it. Definitely the design is awesome. Only 2 mentions with an E-score of 2 and 4 mentions on our not top sets table. So there's definitely a lot of hate for this set. For me, same discussion as the UCS AT-AT. This is the first land speeder in UCS form, and a lot of times the first ship in UCS form goes up in price, and so maybe this one turns into a $600 or $700 set. 75358, the New Jedi Temple. It's a 4+ set, so $40 for 124 pieces. They're always high in price. The minifigures are good, but it's not one that I'm paying too much attention to right now. Only 2 mentions, an E-score of 1. 75346, the Pirate Snub Fighter, 1 mention with an E-score of 1. I agree. It's a cool little ship, cool little scene in the Mandalorian, but the minifigures stink because they have the same headpiece, and the printing is only okay. Even though there's a lot of detail, it's only okay for me. And then lastly, $35 for the 285 pieces. It should be a $20 set in my opinion. It has 2 mentions on our not top sets table. 75363, the Mandalorian N1 Starfighter Microfighter is the last of the 31 sets to look at, and this is the only set on the Brick Fanatics list that does not have any positive mentions on our tables, and so I have to go to the not top sets table for this set, and it has 4 mentions against investing, and that's because this tiny little N1 that really looks flat and is not great is up to an MSRP of $16, and I don't know if Lego's thinking that, hey, the Microfighter with the Mando minifigure is $10 and we throw in the Baby Yoda minifigure and now it's up to $16, or if Microfighters are going to $12 or $13, which I think they are. At least there's a lot of rumors the Microfighter prices are going up, but these prices are crazy for these little Microfighters. They should be back at the $10, even this one that has the extra little tiny minifigure in it. And so I totally agree skipping this set for investing purposes. All right, now time to wrap up with my top 3 sets. And honestly, there are more than 3 sets that I am really excited about picking up when they go on sale throughout 2024. But my 3rd place set, of course, is a diorama, the Emperor's Throne Room. This one is amazing. I talked a lot about it. And other than the price, I can't say anything negative about it. It's going to be a huge winner in my opinion. My 2nd set is 75351, the Princess Leia Bouche helmet. These helmets have just taken off. The ones that just retired are already doing pretty well for 8 days into retirement. This one is so unique looking. I absolutely think it is a great winner. And then my number 1 set is the Mos Eisley Cantina 75290. With all these minifigures, I think it is a $1,000 or greater set in the not too distant future. So that's it for this video. I didn't say it at the top, but have a happy new year. Thanks for watching. That's a wrap, and I'll see you in the next one.